Hello, everybody, and welcome to Problem Solve Her podcast. I'm your co-host, Chloe, along with my girl, Dagmar's in the house. Guys, Dagmar and we're not in the best mood today, but we will be soon because once the topic starts and we get flowing and we're into it, that's why this is a safe space for people to just share their thoughts and ideas and experiences. And sometimes when you're having a shitty day, you can express that as well because we can't be always rosy and perfect on here and smiling every second. Sometimes we have different emotions and we might be sharing those today. So, that being said, Dagmar is going to tell us what we will be discussing today.
Today, we are discussing overcoming limiting beliefs. I think it's a great topic because we all have beliefs, good beliefs and limiting beliefs. And for me, by thinking about it ahead, my beliefs change from being a child, a teenager, a young adult, and then an adult, and then also depending on who I surrounded myself with, right? Because first my family, but then my friends and my environment had really a huge impact of who my beliefs are. The beliefs I created in childhood are the most heavy ones and the most difficult to overcome if I recognize they're limiting me as the ones I created later in life as an adult. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And remember, every word is subjective to the individual. So anyone can believe anything. I can believe that I'm 5'8" when I'm only 5'3". I can believe whatever I want. And so can you. I can believe in my mind, in my delusional mind, that I could get Brad Pitt. Like if I was to meet him, I've had this plan for years. Like I'm going to land Brad Pitt. That's going to be my man. You can believe whatever you want, but when you limit them at certain beliefs and you're not expanding, then sometimes those beliefs become so ingrained in us and so embedded in our actual belief system, as in when we start as a child and then as we grow up as an adult, that it's very hard to break those cycles. So, for instance, I started dating at 17. I had my first serious boyfriend, and he was already in college. It's funny because once I turned like 35, I only started dating younger guys. But I dated, 3, 5, 7 years older than me when I was younger. And I had this belief that once I was that age, I was like, I have to have a boyfriend. I always have to have a boyfriend. And literally from like 17 until about 35, 37, I always had a boyfriend. I was always in a relationship. And I don't know if I ever took the time in between, because sometimes it was very short time in between where I'd meet, I break up with someone, like maybe just a month later, meet somebody else or on vacation, meet a new guy. And I always was just in a relationship. And what happens is you believe that you're a part of this other person. And sometimes you're not able to take a step back and say, well, hold on a second. I have to work on me right now because you're constantly in that cycle of trying to make somebody else happy and accommodating them and making sure they're okay and they're good. Like I dated this guy for 5 years and he was excellent. He was one of the best boyfriends I ever had until he married my brother's ex-girlfriend, but that's a whole nother story. And I would pack for him before we would go on vacation. He knew I was a nervous flyer. He knew this about me. But I was just concerned about getting all his stuff packed and making sure his bag was good. And then it's like midnight and I'm like, oh my God, I need to pack myself yet. And it's like, I always believed that I had to take care of my guy. I always had to cook for him, I had to clean. And I am traditional in some roles. And most of my serious boyfriends have been Jewish. There's like I'm in an old school traditional role in that sense. You know, I got to a certain age where I'm like, no, I'm switching my belief system on this. And I'm taking care of me first. And I'm seeing what Chloe needs before she gets into the next relationship. And my last relationship, which, lasted over 8 years, I had a nice gap in between before that relationship where I was just doing me and working on myself and maturing and growing, which prepared me. So I was ready for that relationship, which I think is one of the reasons why it's been so hard for me to, fully disconnect from the person because I was so ready to get into that relationship when I did. But, there's an age difference and there's a body of water in between us and these things. So it happens. So I do agree with you. And I think that as we get older, whatever that means for anybody else when you say the word older, because a 25-year-old sometimes, I'm getting older. Now you're still a baby. At whatever time that is, you should reevaluate your belief system and see where you can improve. Does that make sense?
Yes. And thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's so important for anybody who never heard about that it's okay not to make your number one goal to get a man, right? But to make your number one goal to figure out who you are and what makes you happy in life. As I grew up, and I grew up in a very traditional, conservative culture, your goal as a woman was to get married, including that your goal as a woman was to have a man on your side, period. Especially if you lived in the smaller societies, like in the city, you could more do whatever you wanted to. But like if you lived in the little towns and villages, everybody got married. You're not married with 21? What's wrong with you?
That's crazy. Can't even imagine.
So I got married, and it was, now looking back, less because I was so much in love and I thought this is the man of my life, but more, you get married, you have a boyfriend, sure, you get married. Like, what's to think about it? And then also my family, as I wanted to become a comic designer, and I wanted to move to a big city to do that. Like, at that time in my life, I was so creative and I loved it. And my dad said to me, no, you can be a building designer. It's the same. And you will marry anyway. And so it was really like anchored in me, right? It so became my identity that I never questioned that. Like, everybody did it. And clearly in a society which is very traditional and very conservative, the value raises when you're a wife, right? So, and I'm like you, but more, I'm almost all my life I had a partner. And without a partner, I felt only half. And then for me in the last few years, like, I always did self-development and personal development from a mental perspective, right? But executing it in the belief that if I want a man, I can be with a man, but I don't need a man. And that took a lot out of me to get to this point, to not just saying it and mentally agreeing with it, but emotionally feeling good about it and being okay with it.
I agree with everything you said. Our parents have such an effect on us when we're younger, and their influence is so major to us because every child, even now at my age, I always want to impress my parents. I always want them to think that I'm fabulous and that I'm doing all these great things in my life and that I'm being successful and I'm great at sports and I'm number one at this. And that's a very normal reaction to have, but it also weighs on us in terms of if I'm not holding up to certain expectations, whether our parents are pressuring us or not, may not necessarily be doing that. It's just always having that feeling of I have to make sure that I don't disappoint my parents. And I will say one thing, as involved as my parents are in my life, because they are very involved, and my brother, and I grew up in a house, speak your mind, communicate, talk, say what you feel, which is great because I've always been like that. And I have no problem saying how I feel to anybody at any time, which sometimes can backfire. But that being said, they never pressured me like, when are you getting married? We want you to be married now. Why don't we have grandchildren? They were never like that, which I really appreciate because I've never felt I always thought, oh, if I got married, that would be great. I was not like my friends at like in their early 30s, like, oh my God, another guy, not married. Oh my God, where is he? I'll take any guy off the street in Manhattan. The next guy that gets out of a taxi, I'll just grab him and say, hey, want to get married? I was never like that. Some people just felt like at a certain age, if they weren't married, it was like hunker down. They would take any, not any guy, but they would, lower what I call standards. And that's their business, not mine. I'm at an age right now where my belief system is in terms of men and relationships. If I meet an incredible guy, fabulous. If not, I am Gucci. I am all good because I am independent. I am uh, a forward thinking individual. I'm a free thinking individual. And I haven't lived with a man in many years. I'm not acting like the ultimate feminist here, by the way. I'm just simply stating that it's going to have to take an incredible guy to come around and that Oliver is actually going to like and mind having around. He does not like when males are around me. He gets very territorial and like to be in my space and sit on my couch and drink my wine with me and lay in my bed. Like that's going to take like Brad Pitt. Okay. So everyone should reevaluate their belief system as often as they can. Don't do it all the time and rack your brain. But we have to be in a place where we're happy with whatever decisions we've made in the past and maybe what the future may hold. I can't live in the past. I refuse to live in the past because when I go down that rabbit hole before I go to sleep, it'll keep me up till 2 a.m. Why did I date this guy? I should have broken up with him then. I should have taken that job. This is where I would be now. How come I didn't move to that city? People, we don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Be in the moment and think about exactly where you are right now and project what you want down the line, not what you don't.
Yes. Another thought I had earlier was, if you have a limiting belief, don't make it a written in stone one. And like, as an example, I have migraines. When I have migraines, my brain is not functional. And I always try when I have a migraine not to make heavy decisions or not to buy big things, because I like to analyze it and think through it and research it. So a few years ago, I think 2019, I was supposed to go to a car dealership to look for cars because my old car was at the point I really needed a new car. And I already had appointments made before, but work was busy. So at this day, really had a bad migraine. And my belief was, if I have a bad migraine, I cannot make good decisions. Like, period, right? My then ex-boyfriend said, we have to go there. I know the sales guy. He can give us a good deal. He will be on vacation for 3 weeks. We have to go there now. And I'm, oh my God, I cannot go. I cannot go. I have a migraine. And he, no, you're going. And when you have a migraine, you have no energy to go against anything.
You can't even process things properly.
So I went and they had a car I really liked. And I made the decision that I allow myself. Yeah, I have the belief I cannot do anything important when I have a migraine. But they're also like, doesn't have to be written in stone, right? If this is a car, I like the car, and perhaps I cannot read the whole contract. But if I, from a sense perspective, trust the salesperson and think he's fair, I should do it. And I did it. And that was 7 years ago, and my car's still driving, my little Red Riding Hood. That opened my eye because, I'm black and white, right? I don't have so many gray zones in between. And that opened my eyes. I thought, wow, next time I have the choice to say, do I want to do it or not? And if I have to do it, I know now that I can figure it out. And if it's just 75% good, right? Because on normal days, you're not reading everything or you're not observing everything. So it could happen on normal days that you make a bad decision. And that really gave me an awakening to, are all my beliefs in written stone? I can never change them. Or are there situations where I can or I should?
Well, first of all, congratulations. And the car is still standing, as we say. Listen, in life, sometimes we have to take a leap of faith. And I know it sounds cheesy and somewhat cliche, but you have to do it. I've done it so many times as, someone who's like a little bit of a Jewish hypochondriac and a little OCD and neuroses. I will still do anything, anytime, anywhere. I'll make a quick decision and be like, okay, I'm moving, or this is what I want to do. Or in life, we have to do that. You have to challenge yourself. We can't stay complacent in the zone of this is my comfort and I stay right here. You have to push yourself. And if you limit yourself to certain beliefs or what you think you might believe in, or you're scared to change, then unfortunately you might be stuck for a period in your life. And it's up to us. No one else can do this. Yes, people can try to push a little bit and lightly pressure us and, do things in a subtle way, massage it. But it's up to us as individuals to solve that problem in terms of these are my limitations. This is what I believe in. Why am I stuck in this? And how do I get out of it? It could literally be something as simple as meditating on. It could be speaking to someone that you really confide in and you trust, or a therapist or a relative. And it could change your mind like that. So let's not limit ourselves. And it's hard because we're very set in our ways, and just allow ourselves to be more open and see what we're capable of.
Yes. I like what you said, because it really starts with awareness. Do we know our beliefs? Then are the beliefs from 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Or are there still beliefs we want to hold on to? Or we just hold on to them because we are used to them? It's like when somebody says, I'm doing this since the last 50 years. This is how I am. I'm not changing. Right?
That's not the
So,
guy I want to date. I'll tell you right now, or be friends with.
yeah. So the first thing is really being aware of the beliefs. And the second thing, evaluating them. Are they still, or are they my beliefs? Or are they my parents' beliefs or my friends' beliefs? Right? Or my colleagues' belief? Right? So is this something I still want to do? And then the third, if I don't like it, how can I change it? I don't have to take them away, but how can I tweak them? Right? If it's too heavy to take them away, how can I tweak them? Or how can I adjust them that it becomes a new belief, which brings me forward and doesn't hold me back?
Absolutely. I agree. We are all vessels, right? Our bodies are vessels that are continuing to grow and to flourish. Humans are just like plants and flowers. You have to water them, then they open and they bud and the layers fall back. And when people get to a certain point in their life and they know who they are, you have to know who you are first. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. And you're going to have your down days, you're going to have your up days, you're going to have the most incredible days. You're going to have days where you're like, Brad, like poop, and you want it to be over and you want the next day to come. So believe in yourself first, and don't be scared to take on challenges. That's my takeaway.
Why do you have to believe in yourself first why
Because
do you
if you
have to
don't,
love yourself first before you can love somebody else?
because if you don't love yourself and you don't have love within, then whatever you're giving out is not 100%. You have to love yourself. If I didn't believe in myself and who I was, who would I be? It's like walking around saying, oh, I'm so shitty. I'm so crappy. I'm such a bad person. I don't even love me. I'm so this. I'm so that. I'm horrible. If I have all those feelings, those negativities about who I am, then I can't believe in anything else or love anyone else, because I don't believe in me and I don't know who I am. You have to you have to have a sense of who you are as a person to be able to be in a relationship, to be able to help other people, to be able to give advice, to be able to have a job that you appreciate. It all starts within.
So is it because you're seeking something from somebody else what you don't have
No,
in you?
no. I just explained it. You have to love yourself and you have to believe in who you are before you believe in anything else. You said you're starting to do Kabbalah. If you look at Kabbalah, if you look at the power of now, all these books say that it starts within. You have to love the person that you are. Loving who you are has nothing to do with being insecure and other people are going to like me. You have to like who you are. Who could walk around not liking who they are and not believing in the person they are and everything that they stand for and be out there like a fraud, like, oh, I'm so great, this and that. Then it's like you're being fake. You're not being your true essence of who you are. So loving yourself first, for me, is the most important thing before you can love anyone else or do anything else. And that's a belief I will always have. My parents taught me that, and I stand by that statement, and I'll never change that.
So my takeaway from today is the power is to look at yourself from a fresh perspective and check if the person you want to become, is that the path you're going, or do you need to tweak something?
I mean, I think everyone should be tweaking themselves all the time if they're willing to do it. I mean, you know, like we could be tweaking. I mean, my road rage has been really bad lately with this perimenopause. Like I can just pop off. Like someone comes in the lane and I have like little space. I'm like, I got it. I'm like, all right, calm down, girl. They got him in the car alone. You know, it's like we constantly should work on ourselves and do our best. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It's exhausting just thinking about it. But I will say, I feel better now that we recorded. I'm not, you know, in such a mood as I was before. I don't know about you, but I feel better. And hopefully people are listening to this that might have started in like maybe a crappy mood in their car listening right now on Spotify or Apple. They're like, oh my God, these ladies are so, I was like feeling like poop like 30 minutes ago and now I feel great. So if we can accomplish that, we feel good about it. Right, Zach?
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal. From problem to awareness to solution.
That's us. We're the
Exactly.
solution solvers. ProblemSolvHer, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram, Chutzpah Girl on TikTok, everywhere you guys are, and we love you, we hear you, we see you. And it's the first night of Passover tonight. And this is signifies when the Jews, also known then as the Israelites, were freed as slaves from the Egyptians. So it's a very important time of the year. And, I'm going to a Seder dinner tonight, and I'm going to eat some matzah and drink some wine and do the prayers. Chag Sameach, as we say, for happy Passover.
Happy
Love you,
Passover.
Jackie.
Love you. Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.